Two.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. This is Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk. And today I have special guest, Rocko Fowler. And I have No Bull Truth, Jesse Balk. And here we are. We're going to be pretty much talking about how we came about to this. We reached out to the People Reference Super Soldier Secret Space Program because we started remembering things. We started remembering people. And so one thing led to another. I pretty much reached out to someone in the community, and she advised to get to Penny Bradley, and then Penny Bradley to James Ring. He didn't have any of his memories, so he used me because I'm a psychic medium. We all have abilities, all three of us that are here, to get his memories. Real quick before I introduce my guest again, I started, I had an awakening where the light went out of my chest that I've talked about many times, and the star outside that just cracked outside. We didn't see anything. Like, what the heck? What's that flash? I came in listening to Miles, Johnston with Max Spears in his story, and I'm like, how is it that I can remember him? And I didn't know he was dead. And then I found out later on he was dead, and I started crying. I had a lot of memories that came through. So through all this experience, we're here pretty much to make justice for those that cannot be here, like Max. And we do have permission. Actually, Rocko Fowler has permission from Miss Vanessa Bates to speak of these injustices. And she just wants his name to be she does not want to hear anybody talk about him anymore. So with that said, I would like for Rocko to start, and then Jesse, just a little mini thing of how we're here now and what we're going to do about this. Thank you guys for being here.
Okay, so where do you want me to start? From beginning?
How you found out that to where you met James Casbolt and Max?
I never actually physically met them. I was too nervous actually to go to conferences because of the things I heard. But I in 2014, this is when I awoke to this. I mean, my childhood is just, horrifying. And, some of the things with the foster care system, things that people really need to hear. I'm going to jump right to the Max, because you know what? My back itches. And you know what? I'm tired of hearing people. Joseph Powell, stop saying you killed Max Spears. Stop saying you were involved in it. Okay? Vanessa wants it done and over with. And I'm here to speak for the poor woman. She's sick and she's suffering. Another thing, Mr. Whitberg, I have a slew of text messages between me and you. If you want to go there and show receipts, we can show receipts. And I'd also like to know the real truth why Veronica cut the show off the night that you said we were going to go on the show. Or was that just you making that up? Because you do like to make a lot of things up. Oh, you're making cake with Max Spears. You really thought I channeled Max Spears, didn't you? You really thought I channeled him for you, right? That's how I know you're lying, because I never channeled nobody for you. You allowed that to get in your head. I used a tactic on you. You talk about MK Ultra. Well, you just got beat at your own game, pal. Keep Max Spears' name out of your mouths, all of you, or I will make sure that this gets exposed publicly on FM radio stations with my other friends that do radio. And it goes all over the world, so everybody will know who you are. The calling me a fraud is over. Yeah, I woke up to what I call the memory behind the dark, which is the actual memory. But unfortunately, I was roped in by Mr. Super Soldier Talk. The minute you wanted to talk to me, you said, here's my phone number, call me. Let's do a Super Soldier chat or talk on radio. Got me on radio. Used something that you stole, which is radionic, radionics, which is not good for the brain, by the way, you idiot. And you're not even licensed to be doing regressions to begin with. And you were doing them at conferences. Yeah, this is Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm going in on you raw SSP boys. So break out your lotion and have a good old time listening to this show. Because when you shoot back, I'll shoot right back at you.
Thank you.
And I'm not afraid anymore.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not that. I also was told by a personal friend that I know, she was also involved in SSP and she lives in town, and we've talked about this online too. And she said, yeah, he stole the NeoQ, never paid. And I think Jesse was telling me that it was an older couple. So
Yes.
I find it to be very injustice on your part, James. Also, I didn't know you were not licensed to be doing QHHT regression. So you didn't have any of your memories. So obviously you use me because us here, we have the abilities. We're starseeds. We have the psychic abilities that you don't. And many others here don't. We know that also Penny Bradley, you told one of the females that Jesse told me, I don't know if you want to say her name or not, Rocko, you know who she is.
Oh, absolutely. What about the threatening phone calls? Miss Dolores. I get on, I apologize for using the N-word. What world do we live in today? People got to start doing their research. In order for your ancestry, it's always like, oh, if he's wearing a shirt like that, he's racist. But the situation is I'm not racist. Actually, your ancestors, had, it takes two to tango. First of all, that's number one. So what happened to your ancestors was taken out on me. Videos were made on me. You told people, Penny Bradley, you told people that I got custody taken from my children because I was abusive. How dare you? Is there something mentally wrong with you? Because the psych wards I ended up in, it should have been you. Not me.
So they never took your children away?
No, that's all a lie. That's all manipulation. Joseph Powell put a gun in his mouth. The whole nine. Tried to play that game. He was all depressed and then turned around, took my story and started handing it to people like Arkeem, who another one better keep my name out of his mouth if you know what's best, buddy. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm real. I might not be, into all the space fun that you're into, and all this make-believe crap that you read in these Marvel comic books. And you sit on television and you believe everything you hear. Television, right? Television. So you're getting projected thoughts. See, I'm a lot smarter than you people think I am. So any day you want to come to the table and play chess, let's go. Because I'm fired up. Like I said, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, I was told that Penny was CIA. And,
of course she is.
And the girl that, I don't know if we can say her name yet, if you want to, that told you that she didn't know what else to do, and that she was advised to go with knockoff and stuff. These are just things that we need to talk about, guys. I am not putting out this video to, you know,
Gaslight.
I'm not, say again, just,
We're not gaslighting.
right, we're telling the truth, all these things that we've gone through.
We're telling people what's been cooking for years.
years, and what they did to us, and look what they did to Max.
I sat there, Miles Batson, you're putting me up on the internet, showing the airplane I'm in. You're making all these videos about me, lies about me. Grow up, for real.
I find that interesting, Rocco, because
Well, there's more to it. There's more to it.
I had
'Cause
him
he
on the show,
got
but
to me
he never
first.
showed up. He never showed
He
up.
hid a video. There's only part 2 on Rumble. Part 1's missing. It's extremely edited. The only one that is up. It's clearly something happened. Rocco found them. They didn't want that to happen, and they made it look like he was, the victim, or whatever, or they were the victim.
Yeah.
No, they made fun of me.
I
They
found
made
out.
Paranormal.
They made fun of him.
Another one. Quincy Rosner, Mr. I cherry pick people's friends off their list and then say, oh, I'm going to do a documentary with you, Rocco. Oh, I really like your story, Rocco. I get on your show and I start crying real tears. And then Miles and them say, oh, he's fake crying. Well, let me tell you something. I got a lot of pain. I got a lot of anger. And I got a lot of animosity for frauds, for people who sit there and steal people's, basically their identity. You want to be me? Are you obsessed with me? I leave you people alone and you just keep at it. James Ring, when are you going to stop sending me a picture of me sending around a cap gun? Oh, I'm so scared. He's going to do this to me. I'm Penny. I'm going to call the sheriffs. I'm going to tell people he threatened my life. Never threatened her life one time. I have the whole message, every message she ever wrote me, except the one she deleted that she wrote.
So those pictures are made up?
It's all made up. The articles, it's all made up.
Is there, I remember one time you wanted me to talk to you and I'm like, I don't know, man, because someone told me in the community that you had stolen a bus. And I'm like, well, what pissed them off so much to do that? I just want
These
to
people
know.
go through great lengths.
That they don't know. That
For
they
sure.
don't know. Because you know what? I lived in abusive Christian wannabe foster homes where I was beat, I was abused in many different ways, locked in rooms, made to carry wheelbarrows of rocks up a steep hill all day long from morning till night, not fed correctly, locked in my room all the time, always told that I'm never going to amount to be nothing. Always told. That's what the foster care system. Maybe that's why I went ahead and I AWOL'd and I said, you know what? Screw this stuff. Just like the last time. I would love for you people to sit there and laying on the ground at 15 years old, getting kicked by a grown man that is, involved in some serious stuff, and you know it. And you know what? I did justice. I was interviewed when I got back to New York with my mother, who wasn't even told that I was in foster care for almost a year. Because see, the problem is people want to worry about what's going on in space, but where are these kids really going? They're getting jerked into foster homes. I had CPS at my house. I wonder why. My poor mother gets a phone call when Daryl O'Neely, where your karma came back around, and I hope they hit you with 15 years. You beat a police officer. You're not a real Marine. You never even made it through boot camp. You were dishonorably discharged, you foul-mouthed fool.
He called me that night. He was, he told me he was coked out, that he had been doing coke and that he had been drinking. He said, you should have seen the Uber, it's all shot up. And he was very proud of what he did. And I advised his ex-wife, Katie Camara.
Yeah, Kate showed me every bit of information I needed to see.
She sent me his information too. And that's when I decided I can't be on Gurn anymore.
Nope.
So I
They
decided,
did me dirty on Gurn.
It's nothing but a game on Gurn. Daryl used to ask me to join Gurn back in the day. He said, "You like speaking the truth, Jesse. I'll put you on Wednesdays." I was like, "Oh, I'll get back to you on that." You know,
Same
never
here.
would. And it's all nothing but a game. There's people that literally message them under their videos saying, "Hey, would you like to be part of the game? Let me know." It's ridiculous. People don't realize this.
Jesse,
That it's bullshit.
how did you meet these people?
Well, for me, I'll go back to James. In the beginning, in 2012, I had a few Draco-related dreams. And mind you, at that time, I was calling them monsters. Didn't even know a race name. So I looked into it for a while, and I was watching James videos and Max videos at the time. And eventually, I was just like, you know what? Let me look into this a little bit more. And I think this was 2019 now, I believe. And I reached out to James, or at least his videos, and I watched, I don't know if it was the Apollo girl or somebody else, but they mentioned what I saw in my dream. And I was like, okay, let me get into it. I had reached out to James, and instantly it was talked to a whole bunch of names of ladies, but all different prices, anywhere from 100 to 400 people, or $400 per person to get your regression or to get this. And I was like, I don't have time for this, man. He's like, oh, don't worry, come on my show. I was like, I have Draco dreams. He's like, but I only got like 30 seconds. He's like, don't worry about it. Instantly, I knew, okay, he's going to give me information to add to my story. I'm like, that's not what I'm about. I don't try to add information to stories just because it's going to help James out or whoever else out that James is trying to promote. He's nothing but a podium to these people, a huge pedestal. And I wasn't going to be roped into that. I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper of anything like they are, but I'm definitely not trying to knock down those doors anymore, because everyone has to learn their place, let's just say. And there's no place for that kind of bullshit in the disclosure group. Adding stuff, making stuff up, telling people, oh, 30-second dream, it's fine, I got you. We'll make a 2-hour show out of it. No, that's not how it works. And then when I was living in the hotel, James had mentioned to me and asked me if I wanted to make some extra money, knowing I had just quit my DOD job and I had no money. And he asked me if I wanted to move his videos over to his Rumble account. I don't really know much about social media and that kind of thing. So I watched him for a little bit and tried to learn. Couldn't really grasp it. Told him, hey man, can't really grasp it. Sorry. Personally, I thought it was a little bit of a setup type of thing. I'm like, what idiot is going to give some guy who was clearly part of the DOD at one point all their information about all this top secret information? Everyone's information. I had everybody's video that I wanted under Super Soldier Talk for like a good 5 minutes until I was like, I have no clue how to do this. No, I don't want your money. That's not what I'm here for. And it was kind of just, I left it at that.
Yeah, you called
and
me.
I had a dream about James that
don't
night
do
too.
it.
I had a dream about him instantly. And it was following him, and we were walking through a crap ton of mud, and I was not happy about it. And it was my higher self telling me, if I follow this schmuck, it's going to be me walking through a crap ton of mud, and I'm not going to be happy about it, because that's all he's doing is dragging people through the mud, and I ain't going to be part of it. I have my truth. I have my personal story. I have my personal friends. I don't have alter names out there. They don't have different personalities. All these kids are either dead, locked away, or gender confused is the least of their concern.
Yep.
Me, I'm not going to make the news like the rest of them.
No.
So I was telling Rocco that he looked to me, he looks like Sean Penn, and that Jesse looks like Pitbull, and I'm like, I mean not Pitbull, sorry, Brad Pitt.
Pitbull.
If
would
I
be
could
interesting.
edit, this would be edited.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rocco,
Dale.
or chat that time. Hold on.
This meeting is being recorded.
So Rocco, they actually did tell you, huh, that you were going to be the next Sean Penn lookalike, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we actually went and sat down before I left, and there was a glass of Coca-Cola. And he was like, "Do you want this?" And I was like, I was weirded out at that time, at that point, because the couch was like a weird, like reddish color. The guy was just creepy, very creepy. And, as I'm going in to get my pictures done, when I'm getting my pictures done, for my portfolio, which I threw out. I don't want nothing to do with Hollywood. I talked to you about the, wanting to be involved with music, but this day and age, you can go independent and become just as, if not more, noticeable because of the words. I find that these Hollywood ordeals are like just a trap. And Seth Green spoke about this with Isaac Cappy. Isaac Cappy said in an interview, he said straightforward, Seth Green said, "If you don't like pedophilia, you don't belong here in Hollywood." So, and I mean,
You didn't want to be rich. You wanted to be influential.
yeah,
And that's what most of these underground people are. They're influential. They're not making the Hollywood money, but they're getting followers and they're waking people up for sure.
right.
As influential artists. Yeah.
I mean, they're making money, but they're not flashing it. They're not, lying.
They're not making it for the wrong ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and they donate. A lot of these people donate. That I actually listen to, which Brian Upchurch actually saved my life. His music, because it gave me hope and it gave me strength and it gave me the ability to think for myself and not have to listen, or believe, what everything that everybody was telling me. Oh yeah, you were a part of Solar Warden. Oh yeah, you were a part of this. And I'm like, and I just get these like mixed, memories. And then somebody will say something like John Whitberg says all the time, "I remember you from space. I remember you." No, bro, you don't remember me from space. No, you don't. You don't.
I wonder, I want to know what he's hiding, because he did send me a message through someone, and I can't, I don't want to say her name because we're not talking right now. She said, "Hey, she sent me a screenshot, and he wrote down, if Veronica does not take my face down or covers it, it'll ruin my life." And then I had another message on Messenger, saying, "I need you to take off or just blur my picture, so put something over on my face, because it will literally ruin my life." I'm like, where is he, at a halfway house? Where is he? What is he
He lives
hiding?
with his grandparents, who he calls handlers, which I see no sign of handlers. He watches a lot of these Star Trek stuff. He's always going into dreamland. I'm sorry to say it. It's like, you try to talk to him about earthly things. I don't understand that. You send him a song.
But he's only 20.
I don't agree with you, but I respect you, is what he'll say.
How
And then
can
I'll
he
go
have
off
all these
into
memories though? He's only
La La
21.
Land.
How can he have all these memories? A book.
This is what I'm saying, is people, I keep trying to break him from it. Like another young gentleman that, just started messaging Jesse, and Jesse asked me, "Is he annoying?" And I said, "No, he's looking for, like he's either, he's believing in time travel, you know what I mean? All this stuff. And I'm trying to like help him realize, like, don't get involved with these people because they're just going to use, abuse, and throw you out in the trash.
Yep.
Because that's what us Montauk boys really are. We're trash. We're trash. We can't get jobs. Some of us are so messed up on drugs, we can't even think straight, let alone, you know, some of us, like I have a friend, he would get on, he did a show with me one time and then he messaged me and he said, this is an older gentleman. He said, I'll never do a show about this again. People make fun of me and I'm done. He says, I'm 50 something years old and I'm talking about this stuff and people just they don't look at that. They look at the other stuff.
You try to rope your grounded stuff into it. And every time you try to rope something grounded or personal or something that no one else can be part of because it's literally your childhood, your school district, your classmates, your field trip, whatever the case is, right? Your program. And there's people that just want to constantly discredit you because it just sounds so sporadic and not congruent. And yeah, that's usually how it works in the beginning. All I had is space dreams my whole life, but I'm starting to get back, you know,
memory.
The real stuff, the grounded stuff, the trips, the you know, the Brookhaven Lab stuff, all this weird random stuff that Rocko is now helping me remember.
And you know, people don't want to talk. They don't want to hear us. We're older now, right? Jesse, I think you're the younger one here in the crowd, but
yeah,
you
31.
start remembering these abuses from your family members, from strangers, like what happened to me, and then you come to and it's like, what? You have this memory of here in life. Nobody wants to hear that.
They discredit you instantly is what happens. So for instance, when I didn't want to pay those hundreds of dollars with James, I was roped into Misha Johnston's group. And immediately I was like, okay, this is cool. People are talking about SRA and issues here and there. And I was like, okay, I got all that stuff. You know, unfortunately, there's people stealing from that group still. I'm not going to say names of who's still because they're new people. I'll let them find out for themselves. But one thing I did notice that bothered me to this day still, I didn't tell anyone till now, is one group I went to, and I like being early to Misha's group just because I was in a hotel. I was going crazy and nothing else to do. Let me just talk about my experiences with people, right? I'm trying to get my life back together. That's kind of how it is for a lot of people. And I went in there early and Misha let me in and Penny was there. Penny Bradley. Penny's never usually there. Now she is, but back in the day, no, she was too busy with her gurn and all this other stuff. And I was off camera still, and I wondered what they were saying. And I overheard Penny was telling Misha that the dreams that we're coming in here with are not memories, are not anything that we should be bothering with, anything we should be even discussing. And I'm like, who does that? Who goes behind the back of some older lady and a whole bunch of kids that are here for answers, truth, and to figure out their traumatic experiences in a positive way are going to go behind their backs and tell them to just screw off? None of it's real type of thing, right? Just because it doesn't feel real or we weren't validated by Doris Neely, which only to me means you're playing the game. Validated means you can hold your truth, you can hold your secrets. For instance, Will Glover wanted me to hold a secret that I was his son in the star system somewhere. He told me if I told anyone, I can't be trusted. That's basically him saying, if you can keep this secret, we'll give you a whole bunch of other stuff to spew. And if you say it's false or true or whatever, you're out of the game. And instantly I'm like, well, this is disclosure. I'm going to disclose. I told Misha's group immediately that Will and Shauna were telling me I was their son in space.
Blackmail.
Yeah. Shauna was a little bit unaware of the things Will was saying to me on the side on Facebook, like being the Nachtwaffen SS general, which I spoke, you know, this is when I was like trying to figure out everything about myself. Yeah, I was told I'm this, I'm told I'm that, but I didn't believe in any of that stuff. I just wanted to figure out my kindergarten story. It's it. It's all I came here for. And people were just constantly trying to tell me I was in every single program there is. And at one point, it was Joseph and Kimberly Murphy and a little bit in Rocko in the beginning when Joseph was using Rocko to try to find other people. And Rocko was not telling me now to this day that he was not about that. He didn't want to be like that. But Joe is, as we know, a conniving asshole. And
Yeah, he wrote me.
when you get roped into his history, that's pretty much all you can be part of at that point. And we've seen some of the things that happens with him. Going to conferences, hooking up with women. I won't say names yet because those women don't want to be mentioned, but they know who they are, of course, and he knows who they are. And
he just had a
other
kid
people
with
know who they
one.
are.
He just had a kid with one that's married, and I warned her. We even did a video together when she was abducted and taken by Zan John. It's just stupid.
Womanizers, just
Yeah.
is what they are.
So what happens when I noticed that, you know, because I had been in Misha's group, but I just got out because there was a lot of infiltrators.
Yep.
And yeah, and then the next thing you see is this Erica chick and Kim and Anne Fontaine. They're all showing their bodies. The sex kitten ultra in full blown. Does that have anything to do with perhaps Misha's story that, you know, unfortunately her dad, you know, did her wrong and she was involved with the Monarch MK Ultra program? What happens when you're in these programs? You have to be very careful. You have to be very
She
careful.
doesn't seem to be out of them either. When I mentioned her, I said, "Hey, Misha, I figured my story out."
She promotes
And
the
she didn't care.
sex kitten thing.
Yeah, that too. That's the worst part.
Yep.
Nobody cares. If you go back to these people and say, "Look, I figured it out. I got more memories. I got this." It's not even like congrats. It's not a heart. It's nothing. It's just here, $20 to come to my group next month, or the first one's free, or what? Like, this is literally like, this is good information. I literally left the group for a year, dove into my own research, and came back with a whole bunch of information. Everyone's like, "That's great. Pay me. You want to talk about your information? Pay me." Okay.
Well, yeah,
Screw
like
groups.
they charged me. They were charging me $1,500 to go speak this year, and then at the Super Soldier Conference, I went in 2021 March, and I had to pay $1,000 for the table.
That was with David Said.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
he pressured me this year. He's like, well, you got to write your book, because if you don't have your book, then nobody's going to believe you. And look at, they only read, but they write a book and then they're gone. And then they're gone to these bigger channels of these females. I'm not going to mention any names because I've already talked about her. You know, promoting that you have to come to my conference. Poor people don't even have fucking money, and then here we are trying to tell people our story.
The way I see it,
they're charging us.
that's the way I see it.
And then they use our stories, and then they send in the CIA fucking sex kitten shit, you know.
And unfortunately, now we're getting some Geppettos on here too.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if these
already
conferences are nothing but a massive cesspool for freaking convicts
Well,
and
what did I say, Jesse? What did I say?
confused people.
What did I say in 2021?
Yeah, you did tell me in the beginning that you don't trust these conferences with your whole heart at all. Not a person there, not a reason there.
Yes, there's a sex kitten ring going on in there, and nobody believed me.
Well,
I'm just glad that I'm out.
Well, you came out.
I don't want
a lot of girls came out. A lot of females have come out. We all three of us know that there has been sex going on, disturbingly, between married couples in this community. And there's just people who are saying, well, I'm not in charge of these people. I'm not in control of them. We're not saying you have to be in control of them, but these are the people you are platforming all the time. Do you want these people to be on your show still? Then you should control them, but they don't control them and they still let them on their show. And that's an issue.
Well, the thing that happened with, we're going to talk about it because I don't like no pink elephants in the room here. With Navor, okay, I exposed Navor, Mike McDougal. I sent everybody the picture. I go, he's an infiltrator. This was in January. The day after I did the video with him and the other ladies, he had disrespected us. He had said, are you CIA? He wouldn't talk about anything about space. Okay, he was only there to discredit us because he's not psychic. Obviously, he's a black ops guy. You know, he was in the military and he knows all these fucking tactics. Okay, get on shows. And once he's on with the boys, oh yeah, he's over here talking about all this stuff, right? Then later on, I'm like, he's a pedo.
Yeah,
I
I
put
called
his
that out.
picture up,
He was on your show for 3 hours via making fun
pedophile.
of you, Jessica Morocco, and some
Right?
other two other
Yeah.
girls for 3
Fowler I.
hours, just laughing them,
Yes.
making fun of them, saying they're CIA, saying they're fake, saying they're this, but jokingly the whole time, mind you. Didn't say one productive thing that entire. I watched the whole thing. He didn't say one productive thing, and then he goes on with James and Whitberg, and it's a whole spew of information.
And
So now,
see,
not only did they platform the pedophile, but so did James and Whitberg.
yeah,
They
I
worked
didn't know
together on their
that.
channel.
Whitberg, I didn't know he was friends with him. I saw him as a moderator under another name. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. And somebody, I'm not going to say who, she's like, hey, do you know he's on there as a moderator? And I'm like, what the? It's like he told me he didn't know him. And then another person wanted me to get him this person wanted John Whitberg to be on my show before James. I'm like, what's the rush? I don't care. It doesn't matter when I have an interview with him. Fine, whenever. Oh no, she pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. Because we had to beat James Ring. I don't give a fuck how many people watch my show. I just want the truth. Okay? So they were playing me. I'm done with these fuckers.
Right,
Go ahead. Sorry.
right, right.
Fuck these assholes.
Well, yeah, fuck them is right. They don't know what targeting really is. All they know about is, I'm in mommy and daddy's basement and I'm a keyboard gangster. My name's Eric Hecker with basically one tooth in my mouth. And I like to get nasty with people when they don't answer my questions. Well, I got news for you, pal. Say that to the wrong Montauk boy and watch what happens. Nobody's saying this stuff because Andy Pirro ain't here. He's
Just
in
because
jail.
he's the founder of Alaska's coalition of any sort, oath keepers, whatever you want to call it, which I used to be a proud fan of.
What is he?
Which
A
live
plumber?
right in my neighborhood, by the way. I live in a Republican neighborhood, so.
The only
Don't
thing I
go
was
around
concerned
here.
about that is I can respect militia, right? For the people, whatever. But if you're going to go online and talk about nonsense bullshit all the time, and then say you're in charge of a lot of people who are ready to fight for the people, why are you going online lying to the people? Why? What's the point of that? Who are you working for?
Clicks and
Or
views.
who's paying you? What's your angle? I mean, everyone's been telling you this. You know the names I'm mentioning. People have been asking what your angle is for a while, and you just keep referring to your videos. Same thing we do. I don't see any angle in videos. All I see is that you're CIA or you worked with them. You did some Montauk stuff. You did some MK stuff, which you have no proof of. You have no proof of trauma either. You just have proof that you went to the military. You went to Antarctica. You worked there. Now you're in Alaska. You're being a people militia there. You know, I didn't have a problem with the guy. I knew all this stuff for a long time. And I didn't have a problem with the guy until he decided to say that I'm trying to be the Corey Good of Monarch. That's why my fucking screen is, my screen is cracked right now. Sorry for cursing. That's why my screen is cracked right now, because I was tired of this guy and that tooth and him opening his mouth. And it gets very upsetting when I have to go through traumatic experiences and I have a guy who doesn't even have a damn 5 minutes of a traumatic experience publicly. There's a reason he's a plumber. All he does is bring up old shit. And he knows my family's involved with a lot of people he knows about, rich people, evil people, according to him. And my family is very close to those people because they got married at their restaurant. My family's not evil, but you damn well know they will fight for anyone who is. Mafia, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, I come from that line of family too. So, but I don't depend on them. I don't, I could call them up and say, hey, I need, a favor.
Clean up.
Do that. We're gonna talk. We're gonna tell people what is going on.
I want to stand on a stage and scream it. I want to call them all out right to their faces, right on a stage.
There's gaslighting being done by a lot of people, and I know I've been pretty mean to some people. Definitely not sharing any inappropriate photos like some people are saying. I don't share inappropriate photos like Marina and everyone else has been doing secretly. I don't deep fake photos either and add people so I can do
I've
that.
never received any pictures of you or Fowler. I have received pictures of Murphy, Kimberly Murphy, and I told other women in the group, you guys have to chill with
Yeah,
getting altered. And
Me
I'm
too.
not okay with Kim sending me those photos ever again. I
Me
instantly.
too. I got him too.
and then
She's
she
married
says, and then
with
she
kids.
says, don't tell Joseph Powell that, this is
Yeah, because
disgusting.
God forbid her psychotic handler boyfriend Pal is going to be upset about that, right?
And then her husband, what happened? They're still married. I guess he's in this too. He's okay with her being pregnant from
I mean,
another.
Real
the husband has a lot
trauma.
of self-control, that's for sure.
Well,
Real
A little too much.
targeting.
he's
Real
most likely
targeting.
her handler. Go ahead, Rocco.
Yeah.
Real targeting starts like within the womb, trauma starts. Max spoke about it. If anybody in this community is smart enough, they'd understand that. And if you don't know that, definitely keep Max out of your mouth, because then you really don't know who he is or what he's been through or what he was going to, expose. The real stuff, the real nitty gritty, not this garbage. I went to jail. My child's mom, we were in a bad situation. I got locked up for the bus situation. Everybody says I'm a con, I'm a con, I'm a con. But I'm not targeted, right? But the article says, found fugitive in Riverhead. I was on parole at the time, mind you. Just went to parole at that police station that day and got arrested that night. They didn't arrest me on the scene. That's a lie, because they knew they weren't supposed to. They turned the car around, jerked me up, threw me up against the car, and slammed handcuffs on me and locked me in a cell with a mattress about that thin. No blanket, no socks, no t-shirt, just my jeans. That was it. And I was there, and then I got I think it was $25,000 bail. And I sat in jail all day, and then they come to my cell and say, oh, you were released. Now tell me that is not targeting. I had I walked into after I started talking to James, it freaked me out, and I tried to talk to him about it. But I had FBI pull up at a gas station, was inside, looked me up and down when I came in. And it was like remembering being a child running from these vans that would chase us kids when we saw them, because we were afraid, oh shit, we're going underground. Are we gonna make it? Are we gonna survive? Are we gonna get raped? Not sent to space, not put on missions, not all this crap that Alfred Bielik puts out there, Preston Nichols put out there, one of the biggest pedophiles you'll ever meet. I've spoke to people that weren't even involved in Montauk, that were the worst, that met the worst in Hollywood. And Preston was in one of the rooms, and her son was in there. And someone came out that was a really bad person and said, don't ever leave your son in the room unattended with that man. I remember briefly meetings, like I remember being warned about the yellow school bus and how, he would drive down neighborhoods and he would try to talk to kids and just grab them up and do other acts.
They would pick me up in white buses, and then they did the whole religion thing on me, and they had female and male whites with kids take me out to eat with them after, and I don't remember what happened after. And my mom, unfortunately, at that time, she was, into alcohol, and she had a hard time with her
It's a
husband.
very unfortunate thing. It's like a generational curse. It really is.
So
It
happens,
really is.
that way in religion, and I've had experiences with the pastor that sexually did something, and it's like, who's going to talk about it? My recruiter for the Army Reserves raped me when he gave me my orders. I lived here in a studio. I'm not going to say here. You guys that know me know where I live, but these things, they don't talk about them because they're
No,
afraid.
I know. Right.
Hospitals, like you said, say,
Well, yeah. Well, a lot of times in these Baptist homes, if I didn't want to take medication, which meanwhile, some of the medication would be like, and they wouldn't even tell me what I'm taking. So it was like I'd throw the cup of meds, or I'd spit the meds out, or, and then I get restrained and, thrown in my room and then sent to a psych ward because I threatened to, quote unquote. Yeah. But then I'd be drugged even more because I was in a locked down place that I barely have any memory of, to be honest. Like, that's one thing. If I don't have memory of something, I'm not going to say I do, just because somebody wants me to follow their narrative. No, I can't. I fight for children, and they
That's true
go
disclosure.
underground.
That's true disclosure. Is giving your audience a way to fight with you, not just cheer you on, but give evidence to your audience. Give them some proof that they can help you out, not just with hearts and love and prayers and sending healing energy or whatever.
to talk to
Help
you.
make sure you can help them out. Give them warnings. I don't care if my testimony with UV is believed or not. I told a bunch of people, all I care about is if I get one mother to watch that says, wow, I should pay attention to all the permission slips I'm signing for my kid. Or I should pay attention to where he's going when I do sign these, or if I should be going with him, or should I take off work? Like, yes, you should be. I'm not saying MK Ultra or these things even work like that anymore. I'm sure they don't. You probably don't even need to sign up for anything anymore. They probably just zap you with something, states away. But that's how it happened to me. So I had to warn people how it happened to me. That's it. That's how I do it. Now I'm trying to warn people that it's happening to other people. For all we know, it could be happening to Whitberg. Now we all know he's James's editor, which is why he has a whole lavish library of history he likes to discuss. And people are like, oh, this guy sounds legit. You're damn right he does. He has James's history. He has James's information. He can give you 10 books in a day if he wanted to with all that information. And you'd believe him.
It's interesting that you say that, because he told me about, Vera, the project, what is it? Project Vega. And he said it was his. And
Vega
then
Prime. Yeah.
how could it be? Wait, so why is it on James's information and it has James's name? So he took it from you? And here I am thinking that James took it when it was James that gave it to John. Now I know.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
You're trying to defend people that are actually working,
For the people that
backstage
are bad.
for
Yeah.
the big kids treehouse fucking YouTube shit. Anyway.
Well, once you get big enough, I'm sure you get threatened, or you get told to start lying, or you get told you got to do this or else or something.
It's like Hollywood. It's like, okay, that's the other side of Hollywood. The SSP, Hollywood, sports, music. That's what they do to these people. They hire them onto Hollywood, and then they rape them or their family or their kids if they go against what they want for the script, for the whole world.
That's funny you say that about threats. Okay, so my mother, I could even get her on it live one day. Penny was going at her, and my mom, she don't play. Anyways, my mom gets a phone call not even a day later, and the guy says to my mom, "You better tell your son to keep his effing mouth shut. Or we're gonna, that word to him and his kids and his child's mom." I had Daryl threaten to come to my state. I had to sleep with a pistol literally under my fucking pillow, pardon my language, but I was freaked out. I'm diagnosed with serious anxiety, like extreme anxiety and PTSD, where the door opened and it was my mom one time, and I just flung the pistol up like this. I have to hide it sometimes, because if I don't, I get shy. I get that shyness. You know what I mean? Like I get tunnel vision at times, and I get nervous, or I get clammy, or I get angry, or I get and I have to take myself away from everything, because it's like they're really trying to manipulate me some more. Whitburn trying to manipulate me, trying to say I'm Max's uncle, trying to say Ra is my brother, Arkeem. No, he's not my brother, and he's nothing to me. He's a speck of sand, like the rest of this world. We're as small as a piece of sand on the beach.
And you helped him out tremendously. You helped Ark out tremendously. You had told me he was crying to you, and you wanted to help him get off of acid. You and Joe wanted to help him get off of acid, and he didn't, apparently. I mean, or maybe he did. Maybe he's weaning him. Who knows, right? I don't know anything about the kid, but if he was doing acid in the beginning, these stories that he's saying is going to be a little hard to believe, at least for me personally. I don't know who out there believes people who do acid stories, and I'm not saying not to believe the guy because of the acid, but that is the case, and it bothers me that the thing that is used in MK Ultra is being used on brand new people who just want a little bit of showmanship for their band or whatever else they're promoting, and then they get thrown into this and used in a lot of different ways.
We have to heal our hearts, because they're after our child heart, because
Max Spear says it, as long as you stay in your heart, you will be bulletproof.
yeah, as long as you stay in your heart and in your truth. That's why I always promote what is your truth. Stay true.
Correcting yourself is your truth.
Yeah.
Validating yourself is your truth. Trying to make your story and force yourself to make your story sound more believable to yourself is truth, because that's what we're supposed to be working on, is our own personal stuff. No third-party bullshit that's out there. No Doris Neely validations. No dreams. No regressions. No drugs. Just childhood and living and not saying a damn word until you decide to, which is what I'm here for now. I had 26 years of this childhood memory stuff. This isn't, I just woke up with this stuff and said, oh, I want to be a cool kid like these. No, this is 26 years of stuff that I was just like, maybe there is something. Okay. And then I started putting a little bit more and more together and unlocking more stuff and realizing there's more puzzle pieces, and that's how it works. It's not third party. If you want third party for your memories, you're going to be searching for that truth for a very long time, And unfortunately, if you decide to go to the wrong people, you're going to be like the rest of them, spewing bullshit about being Max's father or whatever else they're doing at this point.
Right. And I know that for the longest time, when I had this awakening about, Max, I saw that it was Sarah Adams, that it was Monica, and it was that guy that sells methylene blue, Stuart Swirlow, that were involved. The story goes that he was trying to go and write his book, because they were pushing him, write your book, it's going to help your the conference, and he was going to go to Poland to say something. Now, what I heard, I don't know if this is correct or not, he was going to expose one of the Michael, what's his name?
Aquino.
Aquino?
Huh?
Aquino?
No, that guy, that singer, what's his name? George Michael, that he was a
George,
pedo,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I don't know what else he was gonna talk about. I'm pretty sure he was gonna talk about SSP stuff. You know, how they reeled in it, how they reeled him in, how, you know, he feels like he has to perform, and I know he's not here, but they were after his heart because his heart was innocent, just like ours is. But we were roped into this shit. And my whole thing here and now, today, is to stop. We're gonna do, you know, this video. We're gonna say what actually is going on with Secret Space program, because it's a program.
People talk about cutting cords all the time,
Cut
and they
cords.
don't ever cut these cords.
Yeah,
Ever.
because they want the ego popularity. They want their name with the big kids. So when you know when your trauma's gonna stop and you're gonna start working, you guys, everybody out there, when you cut cords, when you stop listening to these people.
I left that group. I learned so much more than I would have paying anyone in that community or listening to anyone in that community. Do your own research and you'll find it.
It's weird that you mentioned the penny, because when she told me that, I said, well, how do you know they're not screen memories? Or I go, because my dreams are real. I've had dreams since I was a kid, being chased, being, you know, shot at, being raped.
For someone who doesn't like third-party
They're
validation,
real. If you feel they're real, they're real. Okay. And then you say, she goes to Misha and says they're not real.
yeah,
So what
you
is
don't. For someone who doesn't like third-party validation, she sure is likes going behind people's back to tell them that third-party validation ain't true. Yet here you are saying a CIA archivist, who I wouldn't trust just because of their agency, is telling you what to believe. You might as well just listen to the damn mainstream media and listen, you know, at this point, like, come on, really? And everyone else wants to say they're now validated. A lot of new people who I won't mention right now, that they're validated by doors. You're not being validated, guys. You're being roped.
Yeah. And I was also threatened by Daryl Mealy on Penny's show last year, saying, oh, she shouldn't go to the conference. This was, and I'm like, well, I had lower back surgery in October, so I wasn't gonna go anyway. But what the fuck?
And one thing that's been bothering me, I'm sure it's been bothering you too, V and Rocco, is the hiding. People hiding faces, people hiding names. People are changing their names every other platform, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's a regression privately, whether it's on a public group, whether it's on a different laptop. People change their names. Even some people are changing names on James's video. There's a lot of people changing names, and a lot of these people that are changing names, I'm starting to put a little bit one and one together. All these people that are hiding have issues with kids, have issues with their kids, either getting taken from them for whatever reason, but they're hiding their faces. Why are your kids getting taken from you? Is it the Illuminati taking your kids? Is it the military? Is it the fact that you're maybe a cokehead or that you have cartel background in your family? Is it the fact that you've done something inappropriate with them? I mean, what truth do you have to give them to get your kid back? And now that you have your kid back, what lies are you spewing? Is my question. People are always talking about, I need to do this or I need to say that for this reason.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No. Not at all.
Fight back, bite the bullet. If someone's threatening your life, you're on the right path to truth. That's for damn sure.
Speak up. If somebody is threatening you, speak up. I always tell people, hey, I was followed. It happened to this.
Yeah, I'll rephrase that. If a government agency or someone that has the ability to make you disappear is threatening your life, you are on the right path for sure. If you're getting threatened by people who are triggered, that's a different type of threat. So don't get that confused.
Say that again, Jesse.
When you're getting threatened by people who are triggered, that is not the same thing as being validated as truthful or proven that you're truthful or trying to hide that person's truth. People are getting mad at people and saying, well, they're putting hits out on people. I'll speak it up. Ryder Lee, he is not putting a hit out on anybody. He has never mentioned a thing wrong to anybody. I was the asshole on these posts. I'll admit it. But he never agreed to any of the stuff that I was saying or wanting to do or any of that. He was just trying to figure out what his truth is and what my truth is. He knows it ain't you know, 20 back in space battles and all that. But when we were talking back in the day, when I first wanting to leave this group and start talking to him, because I was like, hey, dude, guess what? I think this is MK Ultra and nothing more. He's like, yeah, I've been thinking about that myself too. And we clicked, and that's how we started. He ain't my handler. I ain't his handler. We ain't feds or whatever, or hitmen or whatever you guys like to, you know, word phrase anymore, or be wordsmiths about these days. But we're not any of that. Yeah.
Rocko, you gotta spit
There
some-
are people who are in error out there. People love that. You are in error, sir. We are not what you think you are.
Yeah, they like to make fun of people and try and use the T word. I'm trying to stay away from that word.
You try to gaslight and do this and
Yeah.
all that. No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
we're not about that.
It's not nice. It's not
No.
nice.
No,
So
we might not be religious, but we damn as well don't support that shit.
no,
I don't.
no. So my thing is, I want to stay away from all this because it's not. It's just a bunch of baloney. Most of it, I would say 90%. 10% are my own memories, and I'm keeping them, and I'm still trying to figure out if they're screen memories or not. But they're my memories, and nobody gets to use them.
And there's some real people getting rolled over under the bus right now. And no one knows what to do about it except gaslight and accuse or group up. Right?
Yeah,
What happened since this Corey Good deposition? What happened? Groups. They all spread out. They all regas.
This meeting is being recorded.
So with the groups, pretty much everyone seems to be branching off into little other groups and stealing information apparently from certain pages and backstabbing each other and slowly say, oh, we're on this together, but we're just backstabbing you behind your, you know, that's what seems to be going on now. Everyone seems to be freaking out and wondering where they belong at this point. It's like, come on, guys, this is not disclosure. This is not how it's supposed to work. Stealing information to better credit yourself. That's not how this works. There's so much manipulation going on in this community that I don't even know where to end and start. And I'm pretty sure Rocko has been manipulated just as much as I have at this point, possibly more than these people.
Well, with me, it started out, I'd say about, about a good couple years now. You know, this started with Miles going around to everybody's show and telling them I'm a fraud. And, you know, he's the one who contacted me first. Again, another person contacting me first, but then going out and, you know, spewing that I'm a liar because they've already taken part of my story and added it to their story. So this went on and on and on and on. He followed me to the airport. I saw him at the airport. I screamed down at him. He acted like he didn't hear me. And, you know, then called me a fraud because he didn't get to meet me and didn't get to hear my story on his camera. So that started. I get back from New York. And all of a sudden, I start talking to Joseph Powell. I met him through Penny, basically. And Penny's like, oh, beware of his authors and be aware of this and beware of that. But then I got roped in. He would do energy sessions from probably the time he got off from work. Then he'd go to work and he'd be at work and he'd call me from work and he'd be telling me all this stuff and I'd show him pictures of other people and he'd say, yeah, that girl right there. Yeah, she was a Bob, but meanwhile, she's 17. And you know what? Ark is in love with a 17-year-old. Is there something sick and Bob in that?
Wait, really? Who? What? That actually happened?
Yeah. Ark believes that Kiki He's in love with Kiki. He's really, truly in love with this 17-year-old girl.
minor. She's a minor. He better stop.
I'm not going to let these people go, man, off the hook. I'm not. The bounty hunters are out now, man, for real. This is the real Great Awakening, not the solar storms and all the lights out and Trump's coming back and all this stuff, man. I'm tired of hearing it. The whole government is garbage. Every last one of them. Funny, I say a couple of years ago about all this stuff, and people are like, yeah, Trump's going to get back. Pence got records. All of them got caught with records. All of them. Come on now. People, wake up. The government is not here for us. There's no secret, nothing.
There's no red versus blue. Everyone fights for the same team. You're voting for the same thing, people.
Yep. Yep.
And then they're behind, you know, it's like the squid octopus of AI, right? That's AI trying to infiltrate the earth because it's its first time here. So somebody's outside. Anyway, so then this octopus god wannabe gives the Greeks, the Romans, you know, all these wannabe demiurges gods, the title, the gold. Where are they getting the gold? From humans, from us starseeds that are in this human body. Then the wannabe gods or dog wars that I call God wars give the kings and queens a crown because they do everything they say. They go to church, they give their sin, you know, they talk about their sins, and what does the Vatican do? Gets more shit on them. So this world, the way I see it, is they used us starseeds, the bioluminescence, the beryllium, or what is it called, the Wakanda, the what is it called, the what is it, Veranium or beryllium, that's in that. We are the bioluminescence. We are the stars that fall, and they mine us. So what happened in the beginning of Earth? We were the ones that planted the trees. We were the ones that were told, hey, make sure that the sun is aligned with this, and the moon is aligned with the earth, and Jupiter is aligned. The cubes, the keepers of the cubes, they lied to us. So we were responsible to make all this earth, everything that's here for them, for the AI god. Okay, all these 13 families, 300 families, all the cabal, all that shit. And then what did they do? They erased the humans' memories. And then what? People still praise them? No. This is the big picture, and people don't see it. And I know it may be out there for some, but you know what? We're more powerful than these wannabe gods and angels and shit.
Everyone's letting these people paint the picture for them, is what I've noticed. No one wants to see what the picture really should be or what it's really about. Everyone just, oh, paint the picture for me. I want to listen to you tonight. Paint the picture, please. No, there's nothing good going on here at all. And that's all we should be focused on is here, Earth.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. But with me, I ended up meeting JP. He started doing that energy work on me. I began to talk about, you know, memories that were like, I now look back, they're like implanted memories. You know, and it just went downhill. Anybody he introduced Kimberly to, she immediately, the sex kitten came out on me. And I was Danny, and I was a time soldier, and I was this, and I remember you from Montauk, and these are the 13 people from Montauk, according to Whitberg. You're a 20-year-old punk ass kid. You're not even in the equation of even being close to anything that could have been done there between the 90s and the 2000s when it officially became a state park. Why do these people think that they were so involved in this and that there's this elaborate, you know, place underneath the ground? You know, no, there's not. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It's horrendous. It's horrifying.
That's why we'll be literally diving into this place, and figuring out hopefully what's going on eventually, and not finding chairs that send you to jump gates or whatever. We're going to be finding out what really happened, what's really going on there, and hopefully it gets to people and makes people realize that it's not space or time travel or alters emissions. It's really just a group of shadowy figures who work for bad people, rich families, or just satanic families in general, all around Montauk and that area, especially the Hamptons. You'd be surprised how many creepy people live in the Hamptons. They got a lot of money over there. And they don't care what happens. They go there. From what I hear, is they enjoy abusing kids. They pay to abuse kids, and they pay to jerk kids off or people off. From what I know, no females go here. There's a lot of issues going on where a lot of girls are saying, I was at Montauk, or there could have been some situations where females went, but it wasn't time traveling either. That's for damn sure. I don't even want to. Maybe it was for making children and they were used as just to have children. Like, who knows, right? But it wasn't time travel.
It's our bloodline.
Damn
They're right. They're after our bloodline, ours, the starseeds. And first it was the whole thing. Oh, the whole NIZ thing. We all have to be white. Blonde hair, They wanted to make the perfect human.
Yeah, that blonde hair. That's not the case. I used to have platinum blonde hair growing like yours right now, and I have blue eyes. No, and I don't believe I was part of Montauk, at least yet. So no, that's not the case. If that was, I would have been selected in a heartbeat.
Now, real quick before you talk, you guys, about, I know Rocco also and you, Jesse, but what I just want to point out here is I had some kind of revelation. This is just my truth. This when I woke up today here on earth, and I was like, why are they mixing the blood? Why do they want our blood? And I saw a group of races, different races, right? So they're trying to exist because it's not, people say, oh my gosh, it's the ETs. Well, they're human, but they're doing the genetic manipulation. They want the perfect bloodline. So what I saw was the melanin dominant. That was the perfect race. We can all trace our roots back to melanin dominant. My grandmother's father was Black French. My great grandmother was Black from Dominican Republic. That bloodline is the true royal bloodline here. Why did they enslave them? Our families, our bloodlines. Why did we're all part of it, you guys. It doesn't matter our skin. It's the first perfect human. But what happened? We started remembering who the fuck we were. We're not subservient to these wannabe demiurges, gods, whatever.
And that's the ironic part too. Me and Rocko are both surrogate babies of some sort, meaning we've had mothers that were paid to give birth to us to be part of another family. And how else do you make a perfect baby? Usually keeping them in the hospital for a few days before adoption. I know I was there for quite a while. And I remember being told that I was there for 3 days, and the day I got out, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe earth air. They brought me right back. I had my first NDE at 3 days old. I was already being attacked at 3 days old. I wasn't even 5 days old, right? So, I mean, it's insane like that. I've been drowned. I've escaped snow groomers. I've drowned so many other times. I've had so many near-death experiences, and I know there's a reason I'm here, and I'm starting to figure it out.
Right.
It's our heart going back. It's our heart. It's our truth that we got to take care of. It's the kids that we, bring into this life. And no, we don't have to reincarnate. That's a trick. that they use too. So this video is very important, guys. This is our truth. I would really want people to think beyond to what these programs that they fed us since we're kids.
Not even think beyond, think grounded,
We
think
gotta go
natural,
beyond the abuse. That's what I'm trying to say.
think
And
childhood.
right.
Yeah.
And go within our child that we still have.
And our inner child, yes.
Our inner child. Yeah. Go ahead, guys.
Well, anyways, with the targeting, it just kept going and kept going and kept going. Our team eventually contacted me. You know, Joe got him in, and then eventually it ended up an argument between me and Joe, and he was on Penny's show, pulling out his guns and, you know, calling me all kinds of names. And I mean, they really spoke ill of me, like ill of me, to the point where I would not be able to sit in a room with them. And if they came up to me, you know, I mean, I saved Joseph Powell's life, and he forgets that. He was this close from going boom, this close.
Why? Do you think he was acting or was it legit?
No, he was really emotional. He was very emotional. He was drinking. I think he was breaking down, and he needed to make stuff up because I think he was having a mental breakdown. I don't think he's a part of these programs. I think he's got a mental health illness. And you know, he was just one of those kids that got made fun of when he was a kid. You know, we all got made fun of, but we didn't all get pulled out of class, dragged to a nurse's office and said, oh, here's 3 Ritalin pills. See you in a couple more hours, you know, that kind of thing. No, nothing like that. No. Are dragged underneath the school, or being in class one day and then your friend telling you at 35 years old, yeah, I was in class with you, but I was a couple years older than you, and you know, you were not in school the next day. The teacher said you went to some camp. I had no memory of this whatsoever. I had no memory of it.
Or being pulled out into board meeting rooms and spending half your day in there with a lady going over testing and memories and all much of weird stuff, and not remembering why. And then everyone else is in class, and here I am with one lady, like separately learning things.
Yeah. What they would do with me is they'd pull me out of class. They'd bring me in a room. There'd usually be maybe a guy and a girl. And I noticed that there was some kind of Air Force, you know, pin on one of them. So now I went to preschool in the air base right up the street. So, you know, I knew it all tied in. Basically, they just were keeping tabs on me. So they would ask me, oh, what would you do? Or how do you think your family would feel if you were to go home right now and slice your throat, or go home and, you know, kill an animal, or go home and, you know, do something, you know, hurtful to somebody. And then they'd say, oh, you'd be shamed. And then they'd shame you, or, you know, and then I ended up putting, what's that?
Age regression.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not too into that. I don't know. I'm not that far along.
Yeah, there's when people mention age regression and stuff like that, I personally think there's you know, people mention adrenochrome and blood and stuff, you know, from certain individuals. And I feel like that might be more of a form of age regression than what we're being told. As you know, as opposed to being put in a bed or some kind of technological looking tube that's gonna put some wave of whatever energy over you and you come out looking 30, 20, whatever, I think it's more of an injection type of thing
It
and a
is
long-term effect.
adrenochrome. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Injection. Yeah. That's why we probably went to them DNA labs and
The organs too.
DNA lab citizens. That's what they called us.
Yeah,
They
they
said
would
we were
take
lab
blood out of
citizens.
me all the time. Would they take blood out of you guys too? Because I was
Yeah.
always like, why am I here, Mom? Oh, they need to test your blood every year, twice a year. I'm like, what? And then the hearing test.
There have been weird things though, for sure.
Migraine headaches to the
Yeah,
point where I had
still
to be
get
in a room with windows. I couldn't have no light. Otherwise, I would profusely vomit.
Same here. I have to have it dark, and it's just horrible pain. I thought with this surgery the migraines would be gone. Oh no, I've had like 5 since then.
Yeah, it's something. I grew out of them somehow. I don't know how that happens, but I mean, every now and then, occasionally, I'll get like a headache or, something similar to a migraine, but nothing ever close, like as bad as it was when I was a kid. But I think that was all the medications and all the stuff, and the psychiatrist visits and
There's definitely a huge transfusion of blood aspect for sure going on. They love the blood aspect from us because for a quick instance, I had a near-death experience again. I was told I had a year to live 3 years ago or 4 years ago now. And I was like, well, what's the bill? 90,000 without insurance. I didn't have insurance at the time. I was like, all right, where's the EMA? I'm like, I'm not spending the rest of my life paying this. I'd rather spend the year and then kick the bucket personally. And they were all baffled by that. They would, refuse to take my IV out until they were sure that I was actually accepting death. And then they had me sign an AMA and all that stuff. And they said that, Jess, you have a hole in your stomach leaking fluids into your bloodstream, causing your bloodstream to become toxic. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't, And I said, well, what do you have to do? Well, we have to change your blood. We have to fix up your organs and all. I'm like, sounds like you're just going to kill me under the table. So I said, well, I'd rather last a year and then kick the bucket. And yeah, I'm still here. You're right. So obviously I won. And, there's weird instances like that where if I did it, like they said they saw a hole in my organs in the CAT scan. If I did, it healed. My organs can heal. Right. I'm pretty sure they're able to, or they're supposed to, right? That's how it works. But, when it comes to age regressing and stuff like that, that's adrenochrome. That's stuff being injected into people. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things that have been injected to surrogate babies like me and Rocco.
Draco blood.
Including axolotl stuff too. Axolotls apparently can heal organs. They can grow limbs. They have healing capabilities. And what I've noticed when I was younger, so did I. I would cut myself open accidentally, and my mom would be freaking out. It'd be so much blood, but there wouldn't be any marks or any, weird things like that would happen to me as a kid. Just really nonsensical, weird stuff like that. But when it comes to the weird, like age regression and the battles and all that, like, come on. Yes, there's technology out there, but it ain't that. We don't have time travel, people. We don't have the age regression machines. All right, there might be machines that are controlling you, MK Ultra. There might be machines like that. There might be weather manipulation machines causing global warming and all those issues. And there might be another shadow government currently using UAPs against us yesterday, and even the own military doesn't know what to think of it. Yes, there's all that stuff.
Dude, they're all in it together. Okay, it's
yes,
what they want is to show the technology that we all have here in the world. Okay.
The more people unaware, the more people aware.
It's a fake alien invasion with true technology, pretty much. Military TR-3Bs, the Manta Ray, the one that I call Manta Ray.
They're calling them dragons now, little dragons. And there's a Space Force episode, ironically, that I showed you where they went after Chinese dragons.
That's interesting.
A UAP they couldn't identify, and they called them dragons.
Chinese dragons.
and apparently it came from the northern tip of Alaska, and which would be Russia, China, North Korea, whatever. But
And they're
Yeah.
also, remember, they sent it over Montana, and they're saying, Dark Journalist was saying that Montana is supposed to be feeding the world in the future, and that there's a reason why it flew over Montana. So, and also they're saying that it's picking up information from different.
there's
parts.
also a place called Montana and Kansas. And you know what else is happening in Kansas?
That's-
There's a huge spot being developed. I saw when I looked it up, and it was a large military industrial complex or whatever. And where
Yep.
else they're building there, the new Plum Island is apparently going to be moving in that area. So possibly, yes, that might be where they want to restart things, you know, so to speak.
Connected to the dumps. That's where you know, Amazon's, and with the military, they've been sending out their military, you know, the Humvees, the tractors, construction site down there. They're building the wannabe cabal elites are building their own you know, safety nets down there, their homes, their safe homes down there. They don't give a F about us. Supposedly Russia has an underground home for all their citizens. And the US of A, the home of the free, they only have it for those officials that are relevant, important.
Everyone has their back against the wall right now. And you see what happens when that happens? You get shot down. Same thing in the SSP. When these people have their back against the wall, what do they try to do? They try to shoot you down. And some people deserve it. I admit some people deserve it. We know they're crappy and they're not doing anything beneficial and they're promoting stuff in a horrible sexual way. And yes, they deserve that. Maybe not the exact way it was done, but yeah, it should have been called out for sure a while ago. But that's not supposed to credit you. You're picking on easy pickings here, you know? There's some real people out there trying to do some real good, and picking on them, saying they're just making shit up and trying to gaslight them behind the scenes and then go on public air and say you're being a good person because you're getting the truth out of these clowns. No.
Rocco, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I was just, well, a little vision that, you know, sometimes that happens.
Okay, I get it.
Of repeated, you know, things that actually happen to me. And I'm just so sick of the liars. I'm sick of the cheats. I'm sick of the sex kittens on both sides. And here's another thing. If you don't know Max Spears, keep your mouth shut. Max Spears said, we have a feminine and a masculine side, both female and male. So get it right. So for the females out there, like Anne Christine Fontaine, telling everybody that I was abusive. But meanwhile, I have about 10 Cash App receipts with over $100 on them. And you know you pocketed money off of me. And then you go and you tell Christopher S. Jacobs all this stuff, and he tells you, oh yeah, he's the one who started the fire in your house.
What?
Excuse me? Who the fuck are you, Chris? Excuse my language again. But who are you, Mr. Healer? You used me, you abused me, and you threw me out. You sold me a saga. Oh, I want to do an interview. I want to meet you. Then another guy says it. I want to do an interview and I want to meet you. Then one guy goes, he cherry picks my friends off of my list and gets them to side with him and throws me out.
Kindergarten stuff going on. High school.
And the worst part of the kindergarten stuff is the guy who is the closest to kindergarten, and that is Whitberg, who is now saying you apparently, V, killed Max Spears.
Mhm. No, he told me that. I'm not kidding you.
What?
He told me that. Yes.
the
I
fuck?
will. And he can say whatever he wants to
No.
say.
They are
I
getting
know that. I
desperate.
know that. I know that. I'm about to smack the
Backs against the
Montauk
wall.
out.
Desperate.
That is against the law. I do not consent. Prove it, motherfucker. Come get me. I'm gonna kick your ass if you're gonna keep saying this shit. Come get me.
Thank
You know where I live, motherfucker. I'm sure Joseph Paul told you where I live. Come over, bitch. This has to stop. This is what I mean. This is what they want. They want to be stupid like that. I do not consent.
I don't believe it that
Namaste.
what he said. Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
I think it was wrong. I think he's getting himself caught up. He's getting himself really badly caught up in a web of lies. And I might have a few people that might get on camera that never touched foot on Facebook in this documentary this summer. People that are afraid to even come out and speak. They don't want to talk because they get angry and they think about, how can I assassinate this guy? And by the way, when I was trained remote view assassination.
Same here.
And I've warned Whitberg many times, watch who you play with.
John Wartburg, you better shut the fuck up. So I was trained in the same way. And I'm not here to kill you. I'm not here to kill anyone. I'm here to tell the truth of what's going on. What's going to happen is you're going to end up destroying yourself. Not only talking to John, not only talking to Joseph, I'm talking to all you motherfuckers. You're going to destroy yourselves. As above, so below.
Yep.
You're gonna fuck up your bloodline if you don't stop this shit right now. You need to stop. I am not.
Fact, let
I'm not
alone
gonna
that it
lift a
doesn't make
finger.
sense.
You guys, I'm not gonna lift a finger against them. I'm only going to speak my truth, and they will destroy themselves like that. Before you know it, who was it again? They're gonna forget all about them because they're not real. They're not here to help save the children and help save Mother Earth and the animals. You know, they're not here for the innocent. They're not here for the truth. They're here for the greed.
Yeah. They might start off,
Mark
a
my
lot of them
words.
might start off looking for that truth, but eventually it turns into nothing but I need money, guys, where it's at.
And I'll tell you this right now, keep it up with the Max Spears stuff. Keep it up. Because you're really starting to piss Vanessa off. And Vanessa is the mother, not this other bimbo, sex kitten, whatever she wants to call herself. You know, that's how much I really care to remember her name. But, oh, you're trauma twin. And, oh, you cry. And, oh, you have these emotional times with Max. You didn't know the man. So how can you even say it?
Yep.
I'm done. I'm done with the liars. I'm done with the cheat, the thieves, the thugs.
The 50% truth. The 50% truthers who are saying they're doing good and then doing the complete opposite online.
And I don't care what Tyler Koala and all of them had to say either. Journey of the truth. Journey of the truth helping a pedophile?
They're claiming
You're disgusting. And I'll never respect any of you on that show. And I'll never, ever trust any of you on that show. Because how many more are there out there? Is James Ring one? Possibly.
How many people weren't vetted that are a lot worse than we think? And we know a lot. They're just regulars on people's shows too, but they are horrible people.
Horrendous. The way they treat the kids. Joseph Powell, every time his kids would want to talk, his kid tried to talk to me on the phone because I noticed something right. His kid kept asking me questions and questions and questions. That's when I knew you don't even care about your kids. All you care about is people in conferences, women that you don't even know that well.
Married women.
And then you rope them in and you hurt them. And you abuse them psychologically. But yet you talk about, oh, I was in Montauk and oh, I had to do this and I had to fuck off. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah, he should tell people what he does in real life.
No,
what he doesn't do in Spaceland. That's for sure.
No, you don't.
If people knew what happened at the conferences, if people knew what happened in Vegas at his gas station job, if people knew what happened when he would pay people off to meet other people and get sent to other people for sex trafficking of some sort.
I've talked about this, you know, when he wheeled me in, unfortunately, he showed me an app and it said, look, this is a Chase app. I have $3,000 for us. And we were supposed to find homes and stuff. He would talk to his kids every night and I'm like, do their kids not know?
Yeah.
And then
he had you at a bank taking money out for another life. He wanted to live with you when he had kids and a wife.
And I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, this is wrong. There's something wrong here. You know,
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. And the people that continue to promote him, or at least want to back him up in any way, don't really know who he is. And we've been trying to warn you, just like I've been trying to warn people of supposed creepos being on the internet and posing as superheroes or whatever you want to call them at this point. We try to warn you, and you guys, some people put them on their show 6 times. I know James had Navor on as well, like I said earlier. Yeah. A lot of people had a lot of fucked up people, messed up people on their show.
I took the video off the next day. I warned Jermaine Chavez online, Telegram. I went live on the show.
Mike told me they don't even care.
Mike was listening. Mike was listening.
I think he's a little nutty, Jermaine Chavez. I think he's a little out there.
I just want to say that I tried warning him. I said I went live. You guys can listen to that recording if you saw it. Tyler came up. I don't know him personally, but when he wouldn't say anything, Mike was still there, McDougal. When I said these infiltrators come in to the secret space program as super soldiers or military because either they are in trouble criminally or their kids, they're paid off either by SG Anon or these little black projects, or they themselves figure out with all their training, all their tactics, they infiltrate. I warned them. I put his picture up. Oh no, Veronica. Oh, now John is saying that I killed. You know, it's stupid. They don't know how to get back at the truth because there's nothing but the truth here.
They get so distracted with all this mumbo jumbo that that someone else comes on their show and has a whole bunch of good information that has to do with everything you've been currently talking about. So they just bring you on the show. The guy turned out to be a bad person. They did come clean that they, you know, about it and all that or whatever, that, you know, the deed was done. You know, it's not like a, you know, brush it off type of thing for me personally, but you know, they did apologize. That's where I'm just going to leave it off as. If it happens again for anybody though, stop trying to just get truth or views or money or whatever. This is what happens when you listen to space shit all night or all day, every week, every whatever it is. So, you start forgetting and caring about what actually is true or not, and you just bring anyone on that sounds like they know more about space than the last person. Well, too bad that person's a pedophile and you messed up.
And they try and rope you in on moon memories, but I have proof, physical proof, screenshots of the consciousness war about Mike telling Jermaine and the group that it was just he got in trouble for spanking his daughter. That was what he told that group.
I don't believe that's it. I don't believe that's it.
No, it had to do with unbuckling pants.
Exactly.
under a
Okay?
blanket.
I know. I have all that information also. You guys do too on BitChute and that guy that made the show. But anyway, so these people kept kept making shows with this guy. Oh, it was just a spanking. Why would he be on a fucking national registry
A
as a pedo?
registry, yeah, a registered sex offender list for
And
spanking.
why is his daughter, the younger one, still living with him and his wife?
In Kansas don't mess around. You would not be on a registry list for slapping a kid. They slap their kids all the time there. But when you do something else,
Yeah. They'll take
you
your
know what I
kids
mean?
there. In this area. Oh, he's in Kansas?
I thought he was in Kentucky.
Oh, was it Kentucky?
I have a screenshot.
I don't keep the screenshots of them. So you guys have to help
Anyway,
me out with that.
regardless,
Yeah.
this is the last. I don't want to talk about this shit no more. I'm just done. It's like you know, it's stupid. I don't want anything to do with secret space program anymore. I'm done. So
I never did, unfortunately. And I don't think any of us really wanted it. I don't think Rocco or me or anyone wanted this. And it just turned into a more elaborate story brought to you by whoever, right? Whoever's channel you're on.
It's a witch hunt against the truth. And, you know, if anybody is going to send me anything, you know, on their YouTube, you know, again, you know, talking shit about me, there really is nothing you can talk shit about me personally, because I'm a fucking open book. You can look at all my fucking videos on my playlist when I was on Katie Camara, Soma Fusion, Mind, Body, and Soul. PG, you know, Pirate Radio. I'm all over the place. Fucking Google my name. I ain't lying, bitches. Like, I'm not gonna play your game. This is the last video I make about super soldier stuff, because this is ridiculous. I'm here to talk about MK Ultra, the truth. Yes, I have my memories that are in space that I'm still trying to figure out myself, but that's just for me. You all know. You know.
It seems like this is nothing more than a government-run operation. Maybe not government, but somewhere along the line, government-run operation. And they're paying convicts, like a Carrie Cassidy situation, paying convicts to speak garbage.
Yeah, it's the DOD.
Because they can't get jobs.
How can you believe in Juan Osama? He covers his face too. You're gonna believe that JFK Jr., that all this bullshit? These are the puppet masters. Why are you still going red, green, voting? Why are you still voting? Why are you still paying your taxes? It's all bullshit. Why are you still going to church every Sunday? It's all bullshit. You got to find yourself. You got to find out who you are. And
The real you.
You're more powerful than you were ever told. Go ahead.
Finding the real you. You know, stop with the lies, the manipulation. It's just a pattern. You know, and you know, also, you know, if you're gonna be in this, like, as far as if you were an MK Ultra victim, and now I consider myself no longer a victim. I consider myself a survivor, because I'm here to tell the truth, my truth. The 13 kids that I remember are not the 13 that you remember, Whitberg, which you got from Joseph Powell, because I told him 13 kids. And then he took that number and turned it into other people's names.
So he took your story.
Which sickened me. Because half of those people I knew, I lived with. 5 of them that lived with me are no longer here. Drug overdose, throwing themselves in front of a train, shooting themselves in the head, more drug overdose, and hanging themselves. Okay? That's what this stuff is. Especially when people don't want to listen. Because you can really go through a psychosis when it comes to this shit. But nobody cares. Nobody seems to really care.
It's sedatives.
All they care about is this.
It's sedatives. It's pills. It's the
money.
And that's what it is in the systems too, as you know. Everyone's about the money.
Continue to take acid.
The people that tortured us at these schools, Rocco, the administrators and all that, these SSP people are no different. All they're doing is making money. They don't care about the kids getting out and getting better or any of that, just like these other programs in boarding schools and hospitals and Baptist church, whatever you want to call them. They all exist and they all still happen, and they're all funded by the government, and it makes them a lot of money. My private school, it's $13,000 a head. There was over 500 kids there. It's a lot of money.
It was
Just
expensive.
shooting
It
pills
was
into
expensive.
kids' systems and call it, oh, he's healed, he's fixed. Send
The
him home.
foster care system was pretty expensive too.
I had to go back to school in 12th grade in shackles and handcuffs and walk through my school and get sent to boarding schools, board meetings to see if I was good enough to go back to school. You know how humiliating that is for someone who didn't do anything wrong in the first place? Or at least didn't think he did anything wrong. All he did was hate the system, not want to be a sheep, not want to be the status quo. Shame on me. And I get sent away. I get abused. I get sent through more stuff. That's the real thing. That's the real truth. That's the real history of what we go through. If you don't have any mental or child abuse, get out of here with that space stuff, and certainly stop saying that's the validation or that's the full story. Because if you go from I was in school to I was going through a time portal, you're MK Ultra, buddy. You don't have any memory back. You don't have anything back. That's why I'm saying go back in time a little bit. If you're a time traveler, go back in time and figure out what happened to you in your childhood, because that's where the information lies. That's where the truth lies. And if you don't have anything, you're just bullshit, in my opinion.
Yep.
If you can't remember anything that you went through that got to you to the point that you got into space, that's a red flag, in my opinion. If you can't come up with one damn thing that you can prove with people's names, kids' names, anything. I'm not talking about alters names that you meet that have a similar narrative to yours. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about kids' names on their birth certificates on Earth that have issues or have passed away that you have ties to in some way or shape or form. That's truth. No one else has that. Not a damn person in this community I've heard speak about real names. It's just alters. And who are those alters? It's James's altar. It's Joe's altar. It's anyone else's altar that is part of the narrative. It is not a single fucking person that is not part of the narrative. So as soon as I joined the narrative or the community, whatever you want to call it, I got lashed at by everybody because it was nothing that anyone else can use because it was personal. And if your stuff is personal and it sounds like it's very congruent and it can get you a lot more popularity, people freak out, believe it or not. A lot of people say they're not in it for fame or popularity or this or that. I guarantee they are, because they get very angry when you have very congruent information. They get triggered. They start yelling at you, no, you're not. You're just bullshit. Their ears start ringing. It's real stuff.
You know, and those of us that were diagnosed with the DID, you know, here on Earth, and because of all these,
Yeah, I'm surprised I still got the job there.
yeah, because of this MK Ultra thing, it is our duty to.
Easiest job interview I've ever been part of, I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
I had to take a few tests, but when I met the person, it was like a big smile, like he knew me already. Hey, Jess, how's it going? Instantly, hire, you're hired, done, boom.
Well, when I went to two police, I lateraled over from one police to another department, and I've had a total of 3 psychological tests and 3 lie detector tests, and the second one,
They need a psychological test there. That's for damn sure. At that DOD now.
I passed them, and then on one of them they said, "Have you ever done steroids?" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, the only steroids I was given was when, I had pneumonia. But really,
The best part is the OPSEC testing, is when they try to train you to who to be aware of, whether it's China or whatnot. Because you'd be surprised. You start working there, you get phone calls from random people asking what you're making. And I'm not going to lie, I took photos of the DOD. I took photos of what we were making at the DOD. I sent them to people before they announced it. I was whistleblowing for people. Military friends, rather. I wasn't sending them to China or whatever, but I was sending them to people that needed and wanted to know the info. We're just making a couple weapons here and there. No big deal. Right?
oh, It's just a drone that can read your license plate from yonder. Right above the trees
Yeah.
there.
It's just a automatic weapon that can see through walls.
A LiDAR. Yep. They can see where you're.
Or see heat signatures through walls at least.
Yes. Look at the movie Mile 22. That is real shit, according to one of the DARPA agents that I spoke to. So that's real shit. And we know, because some of us were trained in that. I was, police, military. So it's, it's the fucked up shit that they do to you here after they're done with you. They think that they could just throw you away. And then you're looped into the secret space program. Woo! That's a lot of work we have to do. I've been incorporating my alters, my different personalities that supposedly, So what do? They use you as a cover, and then boom, they say, oh, you have this, you have that wrong with you. You're crazy. We're not crazy. The reason why we're very, very important to them and they can't get rid of us, guys, is because we know their plans. We see the future. Look at the movie, The Gods, right? The Gods of Earth or whatever. They are showing you the Tesla telescope, Project Looking Glass, the Alice in Wonderland. Guess what? We are the ones that could see the future, the past, the present. We can see. We don't need to be trained to remote view because we are star seeds that come and we can see everything. They can't get rid of us. They need us for a future. What's going to happen to Earth? Why are eggs not coming from Texas? Why are eggs being false narratives? Toilet paper. You need to get the baby Jabberwocky. Guess what? You don't need to get no nothing. We are born with our DNA intact. Perfect.
Yes.
All the garbage that people are tuning in. And then we have the fake secret space program. Just like there's a fake light when you depart from this earth, when you die from here, there's a fake light. Don't go to the fake light. Anyway, I got off on tangent. Do you guys want to say anything else before we go here?
I mean, we can always do a part 2 if that's the case.
Yeah.
For sure.
If anything else comes up.